What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the official Wrestling Inc. podcast alongside Raj Giri and Vince Russo. And this episode, of course, brought to you by Onit. Guys, as some of you know, I was up covering Wrestle Kingdom until I think 7:30 Eastern time this morning. This is how I did it. Their Shroom Tech product helped keep me awake. It's a great natural energy supplement. Of course, I took 2 Alpha Brains last night. Great supplements from Onit. You can use their T Plus Total Strength Plus Performance. It's a supplement proven to drastically increase strength. You can check out their awesome new Total Primate Care Packs, which has bone and joint maintenance, macronutrients, immune health, enhanced mood and brain function. It's the chosen supplement brand of guys like Seth Rollins, Cesaro, Triple H, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all the big names, DDP. And if you check them out now at onit.com/wrestling, you can support our podcast, save 10% on your order. That's onit.com/wrestling. If you don't like the product, if you don't like being able to stay up and watch awesome Wrestle Kingdom shows, you can send it back. They will give you your money back, no questions asked. So onit.com/wrestling. Check them out, guys. But yeah. Crazy that I covered that Wrestle Kingdom show last night. A lot of stuff going on in relation to that with the WWE. I guess it should be no surprise that they launched their streaming service in Japan today. The WWE did, because now we have rumors that the WWE has signed the likes of AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Karl Anderson, and Doc Gallows. Raj, what was your reaction to hearing this?
I was surprised about Styles. I interviewed Styles just last week, and he has definitely sounded very open to signing with WWE. But I kind of figured if they hadn't yet, I don't see them going for him. But it's a great signing. I mean, Styles is probably the best wrestler on the planet right now. So I hope his back is legitimately okay, and he's good to go. Or otherwise, I'd like to see him take a little time off to get that rehab. But I think everybody's been wondering what's taken so long, and here it is. And then Nakamura is just a superstar. That dude just has so much charisma. It's amazing in the ring. So I think it's just great all around. Now, how they're used, that's a whole nother story. But it's a great signing.
I feel like Nakamura could get over without saying a single word. I mean, I've never understood a word that he said, and he's over like hell with me.
Well, you've had Gallows already in WWE. Styles has been, Styles and Nakamura, they've been around forever. So I feel like you could bring those 4 guys in as a group, and right off the bat, and that way you're kind of protecting Nakamura from promos and things like that. So I think, it's exciting times ahead.
Vince, you worked with AJ Styles, and I think maybe you worked with Doc Gallows as well. What do you think of WWE bringing those guys over?
Well, I didn't work with Gallows. I worked with AJ, obviously, for, probably a decade. Man, I just got to tell you, being on both sides of that fence, man, I just don't see, personally now I'm talking, I just don't see AJ Styles as WWE material. I mean, AJ is one of the most class acts through and through that I know. He is a good man. He's a great father, a great husband, a stand-up guy. And, I was on the other side of that fence. I was at the, WWE when at times, it was political warfare. And I think it's going to be tough for somebody like AJ to be able to exist in that environment, especially that he's never been put in an environment like that before. I mean, he was really, we handled him with kid gloves at TNA from day one. AJ was the TNA guy, and he was always treated that way. He's going to be going into now a totally different environment, and like you said, you said earlier, I think Rod said it, he may be the greatest wrestler on the planet, no doubt, but I don't know if he has the makeup to be able to exist in that world. I guess we'll see.
Well,
Do you mean more because of his size or
Oh no, I'm talking strictly personality. I'm talking strictly the kind of guy that he is. You know, nothing to do with size, nothing to do with capability. I'm just talking about as a human being. Being put in that type of an atmosphere, I think it's going to be tough for AJ. I mean, I'm just being honest.
you just don't think he's political enough, or?
Yeah, exactly.
well, we're definitely going to talk about this more later on, as well as Wrestle Kingdom. This is very big news. Very interested to see where this goes. Also, I want to thank all of you who joined the Wrestle Kingdom viewing party. It blew last year's out of the water, and you all heard me and Raj talk about it last week. We weren't sure how it would do, considering it was on a different platform. But yeah, we're gonna kind of Quentin Tarantino our way through Raw. We're gonna start at the ending and kind of work our way, go back to the beginning, because this is big time news. You had Roman Reigns versus Sheamus for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, with Vince McMahon as a referee, Mr. McMahon as a referee. Of course, there was the typical heel chicanery to keep Roman Reigns from gaining a victory. Then Roman Reigns did what got him over, and he just beat the hell out of everybody, every crooked ref, Vince McMahon, Sheamus, anybody who would get involved in that match. He just beat the hell out of, and it worked. Finally, a ref, a non-dirty ref, came in, counted the three. Vince McMahon then took to the mic, and actually I tweeted this idea, I think, last week. I said, if Vince McMahon is so angry at Roman Reigns and he wants the title off of him so bad, why doesn't he make him defend it in the Royal Rumble match? And that's exactly what happened. So this is big, and the reason that I tweeted that last week is because I didn't think the roster was deep enough to have both a new, fresh world title match and a Royal Rumble. Vince, how do you feel about this decision, and maybe give me a prediction of where you see it going?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, you know, Sean, and we've been seeing this. I mean, we've been seeing this for the last month. Yeah, bro, like, all the eggs are in the Roman Reigns basket. I mean, every single thing on this show. I mean, and for the last month, you know, since he, you know, put the kibosh on Triple H, everything has been focused on Reigns 100%. They're going to get Reigns over. And you know, that's, you know, that was the entire show tonight. I mean, nothing else really mattered on the show. But you know, they're you know, and I think win, lose, or draw, and whether if Lesnar is in the Rumble, whether if Cena's in the Rumble, we don't know yet at this point. But win, lose, or draw, whatever they do at the Rumble is going to be designed to get Reigns to the next level. So I mean, it's clearly all being designed around him now. And again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I tip my hat off to them in the effort and everything they're doing for Reigns. But you know, there's just a very, very fine line with, you know, shoving them down people's throats again, and that's where they have to be very, very careful. And however they book the Rumble is going to be really, really, really key.
Well, I think it's clear that they're going with Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and I'm happy that they're not doing Reigns versus Sheamus at the Rumble. Yeah, I think I wonder if there'll be a backlash again if he wins it. You know, if they're setting up Reigns versus Triple H for the title, this is a way to get out of having a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania without the person who wins the Royal Rumble being in that match. So it's interesting. They said it's happened once before. I don't remember that. I remember Hulk Hogan being in the Royal Rumble as WWE Champion, but
just when Ric Flair won the title.
Right, but he wasn't defending it.
Correct. Yeah.
I thought they said that it happened once before where someone defended the title.
Did they say that? Well, I mean, I
heard wrong.
Sometimes I tune those guys out.
Raj, I would have to think. I mean, and this isn't brain, you know, science, surgery. It's kind of what's in front of us. You know, as I'm watching this thing play out, now you're starting to ask yourself, okay, where's Triple H? You know, I mean, they've had him on the sideline long enough. He should have made a return by now. So basically, to me, what it looks like they're going to set up is, you know, Reigns will make it to the end of that Royal Rumble, and whether he's in there with Lesnar or whoever it is that they want to be the champion, it makes all the sense in the world now that they'll return Triple H at the Rumble, have Triple H screw Reigns, that gets them off to WrestleMania, and now they have the belt on somebody else. Whether it be Lesnar or, Cena, who knows? But if they haven't if Triple H hasn't made an appearance by now, I would think that's what they're going towards.
Or they could have Triple H winning the Rumble, and doing what you said, where he comes in at the end, he's the last participant, and
that's true. Yep.
That's what I thought too, because he's the type of guy that WWE fans grew to hate, even the smart fans, because he put himself over so much. Oh, what better way to get heat on him than that? Somebody on our board asked if this was a desperate move or a brilliant move. I think it's both. What do you think, Raj?
I think it's they don't really have many more options right now. So, but they could have prolonged the Sheamus thing and went with that, and they didn't. Thank God. So I think it's interesting. It's obvious now they have a plan, and it's got me intrigued. So I think it's a good move. Now, how the follow up, that's always that always can get screwy. So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, of course, we had the Reigns-Stephanie segment that kicked off Raw. That was really nothing. Reigns interrupted her entrance a little bit. Not much to speak of here. You had the typical JBL. You don't cross the boss. You don't cross the McMahons. Really nothing of note. And that was really the theme of the entire show, was nothing of note. It seemed like this show was done more to set the table for this week's live SmackDown and, of course, the Royal Rumble. One of the matches that did that was Neville versus Kevin Owens. Neville got that big win over Kevin Owens, that quick win over Kevin Owens last week, and they had a little bit of a longer match this week. Neville was just absolutely crazy in this match. He did more moves in this match than I think he's done in 6 months. But ultimately, Kevin Owens won. Dean Ambrose saved Neville from a beatdown after the match. Elbow dropped Kevin Owens through the table. They will face each other for the Intercontinental title on this week's SmackDown, which debuts on USA. Vince, to progress this storyline, I know you've been outspoken about Kevin Owens. How did you feel about the progression of the character, the win, the match, them doing this on SmackDown as well?
Sean, I'll tell you this. First of all, this was probably, I think we would all agree, outside of Jericho making an appearance, which, I'm just being honest, and I love Chris Jericho, but to me, that's just kind of getting old. We keep carting Jericho out every time we need. But what I'm saying is, aside from Jericho, Owens and the situation with Ambrose is probably the second hottest thing on the show. I question the format of the show. I don't know why they would have that so early in the show. You do the opening segment with to set up the end, and then right off the bat you come out of the chute with Ambrose and Owens. I would have liked to build that till at least
and the table spot too.
Yeah, exactly. I would have liked to build that till at least the top of the second hour, or whatever. So the structure of the show was confusing to me. Sean, here's the problem, and we did this. This is a rule of thumb. When you have everybody over, like when heels and baby faces and everybody are over, that's when you kind of go tit for tat. That's where, 1 week the heel's on top, the next week the baby face, the next week the heel. You go into the pay-per-view with the heel being on top. But when nobody's over, and you keep doing the tit for tat, the problem is you're not getting anybody over. So I think they've been so strong with Owens the last couple of weeks. I've said it here. This is who this character should be. If it were me, I would have let him get even more heat on Ambrose. But, they gave Ambrose his comeback tonight. Again, it's a case of tit for tat that we've been talking about here for the last month. Nobody's over. You got to get people over first. And, this was really an opportunity to get Owens over strong, to let him lay out Ambrose again. I liked everything he did. I liked what he did with Neville. I liked all that, but I would have left Owens up at the end to further develop, making him a strong heel.
Raj,
I agree with that. It was something I didn't really think about watching it, but it was done early in the show. It would have been good if that was done later. I think it would have had more impact. And other than that, it's pretty standard stuff. But at the same time, they're not doing anything really backstage or any real storylines outside of the ring to progress this storyline. But outside of that, it's probably the best thing on Raw, or in the top 2 or 3. So. Again, you got your 50-50 booking with Owens and Neville trading wins, which is pretty standard now. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty good segment.
Raj, do you think this continues through the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be Owens and Ambrose at the Rumble.
I think it almost has to, doesn't it? I mean, what else are they going to have without a WWE title match there? That Rumble may go 80 minutes with it being a title match.
Yeah, I mean, they could throw 40 people in again, like they've done in the past. So, yeah.
Next up we had Titus O'Neil versus Stardust. This, again, was a nothing match, but I will give them credit. These two have had some backstage vignettes. I thought they were pretty funny vignettes. And the whole point of the story being that Titus wanted to let Stardust know who he is, remind him who he is, that he's Cody Rhodes and all that stuff. There wasn't much of a mention of that tonight. Titus O'Neil got the win. But it seems like, they're at least trying to, I don't know if it's resolving the storyline, but they're doing something. Vince, what did you think when you saw these two guys on your screen on Monday night in primetime?
I got to be honest with you, Sean. I thought I missed something. Because I think I've seen all the vignettes you're talking about, and maybe I did miss something on SmackDown. I don't know, but did any heat ever come out of any of those vignettes? Because
no.
I was trying to figure out, okay, what's the story here? Why are these two guys having a match? Because I never saw any heat come out of those vignettes.
Titus only explained it on a guest commentary spot during, I think, a Stardust match. He said that he wanted Stardust to stop running around and pretending to be something that he wasn't, and that he was Cody Rhodes, and yada yada.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anything, they should have at least reinforced that tonight with a short promo in the back, because I just really didn't know why I was watching this match.
Raj,
I agree. It's you don't know where they're going with it. They seem like they wrestle every week, and you're having the matches before the feud is even. The storyline's even going anywhere. I hope there's some payoff, because it seems like a waste of time otherwise.
I agree. Next up, we had Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. This comes after Becky Lynch, or Charlotte confronted Becky backstage and asked her if she requested the match, and they agreed to do. And Charlotte was not happy about that. They agreed to do it in the spirit of competition. Ric Flair cheated, but. Ric Flair, you little turd, Becky Lynch saw it coming, and she stopped it. Well, didn't really stop it, but ended up pinning Charlotte, and then Charlotte went banana, as Pat Patterson would say, and beat the hell out of Becky Lynch. This is finally the Charlotte turn, and you know what? These two girls went out there. They had a good match. They got a good reaction for the finish, a good reaction for the heel turn. And I guess that shouldn't be a big shocker, because they've actually had a storyline going for over a month, with backstage segments, with in-ring segments, with interview segments, all of that. The WWE utilized all three things: in-ring, backstage, interviews. And this got over. The crowd made noise. The crowd cared. And now they'll have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Raj, what did you think it was time to pull the trigger on the heel turn, and what did you think about all this?
Well, I kind of assume Charlotte's been a heel anyway, and Becky's just been by her side through it. But I thought this was good. I thought this was one of the best things on the show. I liked how Becky won. I thought it was clever, and this feud, it's one of the better feuds that WWE has going on right now, and I think you got Charlotte finally feeling comfortable in role, and Becky, is showing some fire as a babyface. So, I liked it. I think it's kind of a waste with Rick, but I like it otherwise.
Yeah. Vince, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm glad they're getting behind this Becky and they're giving her a little bit of a story, and I'd like to see them develop her a little bit more. I mean, she's good. I mean, she's got a different look. I'm a little surprised because she's kind of the person I would have expected them to put the least amount of work into, because, you got Paige, you got Sasha, you got Charlotte, you got a lot of good women over there. So I'm pleasantly surprised, and I hope they continue to build her character in the weeks to come.
Yeah, I really love this. Good for them. They put together a good storyline. I think a really underrated storyline. There are subtleties and little things. It's a good storyline. I'll tell you what's not good. WWE teasing us with another Ryback Big Show match. I was so pissed off when I saw this. When these two walked out, I can't remember the count, but I think that I counted that over the last year they have competed in 18 matches against each other on TV. I could be off by one or two. That includes some six-man, things like that. The Wyatt family, their little deal hit. They came out, and I guess their whole thing is when they want to feud with somebody, they just show up and beat them up. There's nothing really put into it. But this isn't necessarily a feud. I'm sure they're going to have some matches with these guys, but every single one of the guys was announced for the Royal Rumble, so there's that. Vince, I know you're a fan of Bray Wyatt.
I wish I wasn't sometimes. It's
aimless. It's aimless.
Sean, here's the thing. This is basically what's going on. They don't have anybody to put the Wyatts with, and because they haven't gotten anybody over. But if that's the case, that's fine. Let the story be within the Wyatt family themselves. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Bray starts taking, more of a lead role and starts slapping these guys around and, really turning them into... I mean, if you have nobody for them to work with, tell the story within the group by itself. Because here's what I was thinking. When I first saw this, I'm like, didn't we just see Ryback and Bray like 2 months ago? And then they did the same exact thing, a couple segments later with New Day and the Dudleys. It's like, bro, we saw these things like 2 or 3 months ago, and it was over then. So, again, the facts are we have nobody for them to work with. We haven't gotten anybody over. Develop the story within the family, but basically what I got out of it was they were taking out two guys that were going to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, my God, come on, man, get a little bit more creative than that. That's all.
Yeah, how hard is it to come up with a basic reason why the Wyatts would want to attack the Big Show as opposed to just showing up randomly? It's not that hard, and I guess this counts as another babyface turn for Big Show. I remember earlier this year someone did a count, and it was 32 since he debuted in WCW. So this I'm taking it this is 33, but we'll see. But this is just complete filler, a waste of Bray Wyatt. And I'd rather see Bray Wyatt, versus Big Show one-on-one than with the Wyatts. But I don't want to see that either. But I'll say this: I appreciated Braun Strowman's size standing next to Big Show. I don't know if he was wearing lifts or what, but that dude's he was really big. I mean, I thought Big Show would have him by at least a few inches, but they were almost eye to eye.
One of the things too, Raj, and I don't usually do this because I don't like to criticize work because I'm not a worker, so I really have issues with that. That's why I stay away. But, man, for guys this big, all include especially Big Show, man, they got to lay those punches in. I can't believe that guys that big can't really hit each other without hurting each other. When guys that big are throwing punches that look so weak, it just kills what they're trying to do. And come on, man, these are big men. They should be able to take a couple of punches to the body, I would think. Especially, Show's horrible with that.
One of the oldest wrestling school tricks in the book is if you can't throw a good punch, just throw a forearm because it's hard to make a worked forearm look bad. But if you wanted filler and you were in the mood for filler, boys, we got it tonight. we got it tonight. We got the Usos versus the League of Nations next. Del Rio and Rusev. The crowd was okay for this. League of Nations won. Usos are good. Del Rio hit that scary-looking double stomp that requires his opponent to ignorantly hold on to the top rope, which doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Anything about this, Raj?
I guess Wade Barrett's back on the back of a milk box. He's like, he goes from disappearing to being there. Just keep him off TV and come up with a storyline while he's off TV. The biggest thing I took from this match was JBL mentioning the Four Horsemen and the League of Nations in the same sentence, and just doing that just really highlights how weak this group is compared to other heel groups of the past. I mean, the Four Horsemen, NWO, none of that stuff should ever be mentioned while League of Nations is around, because it just really highlights how weak this group is.
Vince, your thoughts?
I mean, it's like, at least put stakes on this match. I mean, at least the winner of this match is going to get a tag team title shot next week, or on SmackDown. So give me something
on Superstars even. I don't care when.
I just hate when there's absolutely no reason to watch a match. It drives me nuts. An easy stipulation: the winner gets a title shot. Then you figure out something to do on SmackDown. But God, there was just no reason to watch the match.
You know what's weird to me? I mean, Raj, how often did we hear when Alberto Del Rio was gone about how Bellator wanted to sign him, and Japanese promotions wanted to sign him, and UFC was even interested? How hard is it to take a guy like that, even if he is not? I mean, he was an MMA fighter and he was decent at best. But how hard is it to take a guy like that when you need somebody who's a legit badass and have him go out there and say, the UFC wanted me, Bellator wanted me, and I said no, and I came back here to kick people's asses? Why not use that? It's a hell of a lot better than Mex America, which thank God they ditched.
Yeah, I mean, that idea is 300% better than anything they've done with him since he's been back. I mean, he had a hot night when he came back to feud with, to beat Cena, and they just completely cooled him off. And it's sad because they really need top heels right now. When Sheamus is your top heel, you really, need to start looking at other people. And Del Rio could have been one of those guys, and possibly can still be. But the way he's been booked has just been abysmal.
Speaking of, no John Cena on tonight's show. Didn't know if he was scheduled or not. I guess I hadn't really given a second thought to it since he came back last week. He is scheduled for SmackDown this week, though.
Yeah, they were. WWE was teasing him for tonight's show in their previews over the weekend. They put something about Cena wanting to, will he take back the U.S. title? Something along those lines about getting a rematch with Del Rio. So I think it was just one of those situations where the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. But yeah, I actually hadn't checked if Cena was going to be on tonight. I just knew that Lesnar was returning next week. But yeah, I didn't double check on Cena.
Yes, Cena and Lesnar both advertised for next week. It's going to be interesting to see if Lesnar's put in this Rumble match, and I'm sure Cena will be, or I hope he will be. That would be cool. Now, Raj, you mentioned about how the Four Horsemen should not be brought up around the League of Nations. Well, my friend, we finally were given a heel stable worthy of mentioning the Four Horsemen. Adam Rose, Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. And hopefully this leads to an Adam Rose, Curtis Axel team of Axel Rose. That's the reunion we are looking for.
For all the fans, that have been wondering when the Job Squad would come back, they can stop asking. They got it.
And Heath Slater faced Dolph Ziggler, and I'm going to tell you because I have dealt with crazy, and I mean crazy, delusional Heath Slater fans in the past. Heath Slater's an entertaining dude. He had a competitive match with Dolph Ziggler, won via distraction. I'm not going to say that I like this segment, but I did not stop smiling during this segment, for better or for worse. Vince Russo, we were big in the Attitude Era on everybody having something.
Sean, let me stop you right there. Because you just said it, I didn't. Could you imagine what would have happened to these 4 jabrones if they would have came out during the Attitude Era?
Well, we did see what happened to those jabrones when they came out in the Attitude Era because they got their asses kicked as the Job Squad.
I just want to know. You know what? I almost found myself being a total mark tonight, but I'm not a total mark, and I'll tell you why. I don't know who Ziggler pissed off. I don't know what the guy did, but now it's a giant rib on him. It's a giant rib, and I found myself saying, you know, after I watched that match, I wrote it on Twitter. I'm like, the guy just should quit. He just should quit because he can make a lot more money somewhere else. And then I stopped myself and I said, wait a minute. The guy is getting paid. You know, he's going out there. He's doing what they're telling him to do. So it's like, Vince, what are you being a total mark that they're jobbing him out to Heath Slater? So you're saying he should quit? No, I'm not being a total mark. What I'm saying is, if they let this guy rise to his potential, he has the potential to make a hell of a lot more money. You know, Dolph Ziggler could make a lot of money in wrestling, but the way they've booked him since last year's Survivor Series, when I thought that was the turning of the corner, when they made him look like Superman, until today, it's been a total joke. And listen, I don't know what they're paying the guy, but I can tell you this, the way they're booking him is preventing him from making what he could potentially make in the wrestling business.
The only thing I could think of is that the whole him re-signing the contract was a ruse, and his contract's coming up and he's leaving because, I mean, they're jobbing him out something fierce. I mean, they've made him irrelevant at this point. And I don't know if that's what you get for kissing Nikki Bella on Total Divas, but it's pretty brutal what's going on with this guy. And I agree with Vince. You could be making money with this guy. This guy has charisma. He's got good promo skills. He's got the look. And they're just beating him out. You know, I mean, losing to Slater on Raw it doesn't get much worse than that. No. The only thing that would be worse is if he got beat down by Rose and all those guys afterwards. But luckily they didn't go that far.
I can't wait to see the big pay-per-view headliner of Rose, Axel, Dallas, and Slater against Matadores, Sandow, and Fandango. Man, that's the jam. That's the jam right there, you guys. But yeah,
that's coming soon to a kickoff show near you. I bet you that's going to be the kickoff show at the Rumble.
God damn, I cover Superstars on Fridays too, so woe is me. Anyway, New Day came out. And I'll preface this by saying New Day was out there for 33 minutes in a row, and that was just too long. They came out, trolled the crowd a little bit, so they had a gift for the fans, started their own countdown, but midway, they clowned Mike Tyson falling off a hoverboard, which was actually very funny to watch. They did the countdown.
Sean, I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I know how you are with New Day.
Yeah.
And I saw the Tyson spot, and I sat here and I said, there is no way in the world that Sean is going to put over that Titan spot.
Oh, no.
That Tyson spot.
I mean, well, no. Tyson falling off the hoverboard was hilarious. Not New Day reenacting it. No.
Oh, okay. Oh,
no. Oh, God, no. Okay, no, that was corny as hell. No, Mike Tyson actually physically falling off the hoverboard.
Okay, no, I'm glad you clarified that because I thought you were putting over them doing it because I was saying there's no way Sean's putting this. That's where he draws the line, I said.
No, that sucked. That was terrible. That was super lame. Yeah. Anyway, the countdown switches to Jericho's. He comes out. He returns for... I may be off, but I think the 457th return that he's had to the WWE. Good to see him back. He's a good name. He entered himself in the Rumble. Cool man, whatever. So there's that. Vince, your thoughts on Jericho coming back and New Day?
Well, there were a couple things that really surprised me. First of all, I'm just going to say it again and let the hate mail pour in. I'm sick of New Day's act. It's stale. It's the same thing. There's nothing new. I'm so over it. I was over it weeks ago. End of that story. There were two things I was very surprised at very surprised at. Number one, they were in San Antonio. Shawn Michaels is a phone call away. Why would they not have used Shawn Michaels to get a little pop tonight and given him a little payday? I was very surprised at that. The thing that surprised the crap out of me was the shots that Jericho took at the product.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, first of all, there's no way anybody could have wrote this for him. Second of all, if Vince is waiting behind that curtain when Jericho was saying they need a shot in the arm in ratings and house shows, and I could not believe he cut that promo.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked with that. I thought when he was saying it, I thought he was gonna say like it's been doing well. You know, like when he's like, you've seen the Raw ratings, you've seen the, house show numbers. And then I thought he was going to say, and they've been great, or something along those lines. But when he was saying that they needed a shot in the arm, I was like, damn, like, I hope that was scripted for him, because, I mean, Jericho's been around a while. He's not going to get buried like the other guys. He'll be gone soon. He comes and goes. But I wouldn't want to be around Vince if he came up with that stuff on his own.
Yeah, Jericho went away. New Day faced Dudley's and Kalisto.
This was on SmackDown, right? So another 50-50 match.
Yeah. So is there anything about this worth talking about? This match. This was another filler. Sin Cara isn't ready to go. New Day won. Cool, man. Whatever.
I agree with Vince on the New Day stuff. I've been a New Day fan for a while, and the last couple weeks it's been just, they've gone from being entertaining to testing my patience, and I felt like this week, they went beyond the pale. I just found them way too irritating to be entertaining, and just too corny, and it took me out of the match. I was like angry that Monday Night Football is not on now. And I, just ended up sitting through and watching it. But man, it was tough.
Well, they better figure out something fast, because these three guys are going to have Heath Slater, Axl Rose, and Bo Dallas nipping at their heels for that spot. It's coming, guys. They're going to start politicking backstage. Because Heath Slater does the Biggie crotch shake during his matches too. Oh, dear God.
Raj, you have to give me permission that if that happens, I'm allowed to turn over to Teen Mom.
There you go. It's all you.
All right, thank you. All right.
Good.
Man, so that was Raw, everybody, and it was really a nothing show, which is weird because I guess it's a shocker that a show that would debut that stable and have Titus O'Neil versus Stardust would be a nothing show.
I will say this real quick with the main event. I had a flashback when Vince McMahon was reffing that match, and Vince, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a Steve Austin match, right, where Vince was reffing it and he went to count three.
Yeah.
Flipped the finger and did all that.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember who he was wrestling. I think it was Mick Foley. But I just had a flashback and just how different things were back then.
Yeah. I swear, I just wish, man, what would be great the next couple of weeks? Because just think about this guy storyline-wise. Now that he put Reigns, in the Royal Rumble to defend the title, the story the next couple of weeks should be Vince should be trying to get every heavy hitter and their mother in that match. That should be the story. Whether it's Kevin Nash or whether it's DDP or whoever, that should be the story. As a matter of fact, we should go one step further. He should start kicking out like the guys that you just said, Axl and this guy and that guy. Start kicking them out and replacing them with legitimate guys. It would make Raw from now to the Rumble absolutely tremendous. Because again, let's look at the logic. He should have every feasible guy in that match that can actually win that Rumble. That should be the story.
And one of the users made a good point on the comment section saying, if Vince is punishing Reigns, won't he have to be one of the first Royal Rumble entrants? It's like, yeah, if you have the power to do whatever you want, you should make him number one.
I know it won't happen, but I would love to see a one-night Shane McMahon return in this Royal Rumble as the son who will just do anything to make his dad happy, just because I miss Shane McMahon so much on TV.
Yeah.
First off, Vince, how would you rate this episode of Raw?
I'm giving this one a 1 because come on, let's be honest, guys. Literally, all you really needed to see were the last 15 minutes of this show.
Correct.
What did we miss in the first 2 hours and 45 minutes?
You wouldn't have known of this Axl Rose, Axl Rose group.
Well, yeah, okay, my bad.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens with that. Also, TNA is debuting on Pop tomorrow. You worked for TNA for a long time, Vince. Did you see their new intro by chance?
Which one? The one with the Billy Corgan music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I actually did see that today. Yes.
What'd you think of that?
Honestly, I just thought it was vanilla.
I thought it was pretty good.
Well, I mean, you saw high-risk wrestling moves.
What's wrong with vanilla? I don't drink soda, but Coke vanilla is my jam.
Yeah, well, I just think they're going to need a little bit more than that to get the audience back they once had.
Can I get you to say anything negative about TNA so I can write an article about it?
Oh, you call me tomorrow. You got 2 hours?
Well, just saying. I mean, that as the kids say, the hits.
Will you be watching them on Pop tomorrow?
Listen, I'll be honest. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Okay. All they've announced are wrestling matches. If they would have announced something exciting that would have made me watch the show, I would have gladly watched the show.
You mean them promoting a pregnant? I think it's Angelina Love being on the show wasn't enough.
Well, I'm just I saw 2 hours and 3 hours of wrestling tonight. If I wanted to watch more wrestling, but it's not that I'm not watching them just because of personal reasons. They advertise the show, and it's just match after match after match after match.
Personally, I mean, Tuesdays are typically my night off, but I'm going to give them a try tomorrow night. I'm going to check them out, kind of give them a clean slate type of deal. Don't know how long that'll last, but Vince, I want to thank you for joining us, of course. Thank you for sitting through this riveting episode of Monday Night Raw.
It's a hard job, Vince.
It's a hard job, but I do, and I do it for you guys. I do it all for Wrestling.com.
And this guy watched Making a Murderer this weekend. Have you seen that,
thanks
Raj?
to you,
I've heard
man.
it's awesome. I heard it's awesome.
Bro,
I'm still waiting to finish Walking Dead.
Bro, I sat through 10 hours in 2 days on your recommendation. Thank you very, very much.
I have impeccable taste in television, ladies and gentlemen.
Very good. Very good, my man.
But thank you very much.
All right. Well, have a great rest of the show, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
Take care.
Bye.
So, Raj, to say that this New Japan Exodus, we'll call it, was a surprise. I mean, I've heard rumblings throughout the weekend, and of course I asked Karl Anderson when I interviewed him about a thing, and he said, "Man, I sure would love to join the Balor Club someday." I was like, But this is big. This is pretty big, but I just don't know what'll happen with it.
Yeah, I mean, I first reported in early December about Nakamura, and I knew that it was, pretty strong interest from WWE. Like they wanted him. It's not just sending out feelers. All four, I think, because Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows individually, I think they're great. I like them. I just don't know what WWE would be able to do with them to beyond, a lower card kind of thing. Now, if they bring the four of them together, I think you got something. Vince was saying the stuff about AJ Styles politically and things like that, but Kevin Owens has been making it. So hopefully, if Triple H kind of takes them under his wing and kind of protects them a bit, you could have something. But one thing we got to remember is, 90% of the people that watch Raw are not going to know who these guys are, at least outside of Styles. So it's not like Steen, who's, Steen, I guess, it kind of falls in the same boat, but he also got some NXT exposure. So if they send him to NXT first, it kind of kills a lot of the surprise element of it. But at the same time, you bring him on cold, most of the audience doesn't know who these guys are.
Yeah, don't expect to see these guys within the next month. AJ Styles is booked through February 6th. He has 2 Ring of Honor tapings as well. Raj, did you get to check out, and we're going to talk Wrestle Kingdom here in a minute, did you get a chance to check out the main event of UFC 195?
I have not yet. I have not yet.
Best round 5 I've ever seen in my entire life.
Today, I was actually going to watch Wrestle Kingdom and UFC 195, but my daughter's still home from Christmas break, and my grandmother couldn't watch her today, so I was on babysitting duty. Which was a lot of fun, but I didn't get to watch those shows yet. So
you should have watched. You should have watched the shows with your grandmother.
My grandmother.
Family time.
No, you mean my daughter?
Well, you said your grandmother couldn't watch her. Why not have your grandmother and your? Well,
no,
you probably wouldn't want to,
she's sick, so she could.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you probably wouldn't want to subject your daughter to the violence that happened in round 5.
Yeah, they're not allowed to watch MMA or wrestling.
Well, the wrestling, maybe not for the content, but just for their sanity. But yeah, guys, I know some of you love MMA, some of you don't. It was a controversial decision, but I can't put that fight over enough. Also, Joseph Duffy lost. That's a potential matchup for Conor McGregor. Kind of lost. He was the last guy to beat Conor McGregor, but Dustin Poirier beat him pretty soundly as well. Stipe Miocic defeated Andrei Arlovsky. It looks like he's going to get the next title shot, unless Alistair Overeem uses a title shot as leverage in his contract negotiations because he is a free agent. But guys, you all have to check out Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit if you're able to. Very, very close fight. Personally, I scored it a draw with a 10-10 round 3. It was such a good fight. But also Wrestle Kingdom. You haven't had a chance to see that, have you?
Not yet. I'm excited though.
Like I always like probably 3 or 4 months ahead of time, I'll email Raj and I'll be like, Raj, mark me down for Wrestle Kingdom. Mark me down for New Japan. I was up until 7:30 last night. Like I said, you guys, that Shroom Tech from Onit is fantastic. This show was awesome. It started off with the New Japan Rumble, which is, basically like the Royal Rumble, but you can win by pin and elimination. They had tons of legends. Cheeseburger showed up in this New Japan Rumble, and it was awesome. And it was so funny because Dave Prazak had probably the tweet of the night. He said, I remember the first time I saw Cheeseburger, I said, that guy's going to be wrestling Fujiwara in the Tokyo Dome one day. So that was cool to see. Also, King Haku showed up as a member of the Bullet Club in the New Japan Rumble. That was cool to see. It was not a very good match, but Jado won. He last eliminated Taguchi. Next up, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. Young Bucks, the only members of the Bullet Club to win. They won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag titles, defeating Red Dragon, Matt Sydal and Ricochet, and Roppongi Vice. I was going to ask you this, Raj. Do you know if there's like any conflict? Like, how is Ricochet allowed to work these pay-per-views while he's under contract to Lucha Underground?
I was wondering the same thing. Yeah, I don't know, because Lucha Underground, they're pretty. They have
their 7-year contracts too.
Exactly, they're pretty anal with their talent and them not working anywhere else other than AAA. So I'm not sure if Ricochet just got a special deal, but because he hasn't been working anywhere else, so it's got to be something that they did specifically for him.
Also, a bunch of contract rumors regarding Red Dragon. There are rumors that their contracts are up, that they may be re-signing with Ring of Honor. Those are 2 guys. Well, Bobby Fish is a little long in the tooth. Just by age, not by how he is in the ring. He's fantastic in the ring. So that's something to keep your eyes on too. They had these vacant, never open weight 6-man tag titles. The Briscoes and Toru Yano beat the Bullet Club combo of Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, and Takahashi. I thought Tama Tonga was awesome in this match, just the way that his body language and things like that. The Briscoes were great, but this was just an average match. They announced these titles last week. Raj, do you think that's too many? They had a ton of title matches on this card.
Absolutely. The more you have, the less they mean. It goes for anything. It goes for UFC. You know, once you start adding too many weight classes and titles, people start forgetting who the champions are. And once you can't remember who every title holder is, you know, that's where the title matches mean less and less.
Oh, something I have to talk about. Holy crap, you guys. If you get a chance to watch, you have to watch the pre-show, Raj. You have to watch this segment. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was right between the New Japan Rumble and the start of the show, and this went on for like 15 minutes. It was this, I don't know what Doraemon is. I don't know what the hell it is, but they had these dancing inflatables and this guy dressed up like Tarzan, and it was the weirdest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was the most Japanese thing in the history of the world.
Sold.
Oh my God. You have to see it. You have to see it. My life peaked at 2:45 a.m. last night waiting for this. Like I said, the most Japanese thing possible. If it could have been Americanized, it would have been two crazy old white guys shooting each other repeatedly. It just exemplified every Japan like pop culture stereotype. It was so weird. It has to be seen to be believed.
I don't know. The image I have in my head now, I don't know if it can be topped, because there's that like a month ago when there was that JBL El Torito thing that you guys described to me on Raw, and I had the greatest thing in my head, pictured for that. Then I actually watched it, and it sucked.
No, this is much better than that. This is incredible. You guys, find a way to watch it. Find a way to watch this. It's King of Swag Style spelled it out in the comments. Doraemon. It was a movie promo. Holy crap. It was insane. King of Swag Style actually put that they need to produce shirts that said, "I was awake to watch Doraemon at the Tokyo Dome" shirts. I would buy one. It was that. It had an impact on my life, guys. It changed things for me. Anyway, didn't mean to gloss that over. Sorry to piss off anybody. Jay Lethal defeated Michael Elgin for the ROH title. Elgin looks like he loves working in Japan, and they love him. But I kind of saw this result coming from a mile away. Elgin's working without a contract, Raj.
Yeah. I mean, and who knows anymore? Can never say never. So who knows?
Yeah, that's very true. Is it weird to you that all these guys, and I mean, at one time you have contracts coming up with Nakamura, Gallows, Anderson, AJ Styles. The Young Bucks just re-signed, but theirs were coming up. Red Dragon, War Machine, Kingdom. That's just and Michael Elgin. That's a lot of guys at one time.
Yeah. It's kind of like back in the day when that would happen in ECW, and then there'd be a big sweep, and then they'd be paralyzed afterwards. It doesn't, it's not healthy to have that many contracts up at the same time, because WWE decided to get really evil. I mean, they could take all of them, really. So, I should definitely time those contracts out better.
Comment on the board says we are living in a post-Doraemon society now. Indeed we are. Junior Heavyweight Championship, Kushida defeated Kenny Omega. Kushida's fantastic. He's just really good. Stop calling that a Kimura, guys. It is called a hoverboard lock or a double wrist lock. Any catch wrestler would smack you up for that. Kenny Omega was great. There were rumors about him possibly leaving as well, but seems to be unsubstantiated, at least for now. I've not heard that, but who knows? Toge Makabe and Tomoaki Hanma defeated Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows, who are apparently leaving. This match was fantastic. It exceeded my expectations. Tomoaki Hanma won a title in New Japan, and if you followed him for as long as you had, that is an accomplishment, but despite the negative press associated with Hanma, the alleged domestic abuse and stuff, they put the titles on him. Is that surprising, or do you think that they really didn't have a choice given that Anderson and Gallows are leaving?
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do if they're giving notice that morning? Then that's the way to go.
Yeah, Hiroki Goto defeated Tetsuya Naito. Naito is so much better as a heel than a face because he never sold a damn thing as a baby face. I thought this was a decent match. Pretty good, nothing special. Where it started to get really special was the Never Openweight Championship match. Shibata defeated Tomohiro Ishii to win the championship. These two guys beat the crap out of each other. I gave this match, I think, 4.25 stars personally, and it probably would have been more. But I was actually a little disturbed, and maybe I'm just a wuss. But I've dealt with some brain injuries and stuff, guys. They were headbutting each other, like full on headbutting each other. That was sick. Raj, I mean, we've seen, we know a lot more about concussions these days. Is this something they should be doing over there or advocating? Or I mean, I'm talking.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's just foolish, and you're just like playing with your health. I mean, I remember Daniel Bryan doing that last year, where he would be doing all those headbutts in matches. It's like, man, you just came back from injury. I know you're trying to prove something, but this is you already got problems. Don't make it worse. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And this match did not need that. This match was fantastic without that. But good God, these guys brought it. And just the last 3 matches on this show were just insane. And it's going to be hard to top this year. And Wrestle Kingdom got a few votes in our award show, which you all can go check out, by the way. It's on YouTube and our all of our audio video services, things like that. But, man, and it looked like it would be hard to top this match. And then Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles did it. Nakamura defeated AJ Styles, retained the IWGP Intercontinental title. You start to see, hey, imagine that. You treat a match with importance. You put big first-time matches on pay-per-view, and the Intercontinental title means something. God, I wish you had seen this match, Raj. Like, it was just from bell to bell. Outstanding. You would not have been able to tell that AJ Styles was hurt, but they did play it. They played it into the match. Styles played possum with the back injury, then attacked Nakamura. They showed each other respect with a fist bump after the match. This was unbelievable. And after this match, I thought, and I gave that match 5 stars, and I was like, well, you can't top that. Okada and Tanahashi may have done it. And I was sick of seeing Okada and Tanahashi. I knew it was going to be good. They had the storyline of Okada never having beaten Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom. And these two guys just went at it as well. Like I can't put over these last 3 matches enough. An unbelievable show. Were any of the results in the last 2 matches surprising to you? Nakamura winning and Okada winning?
No. That's I think Tanahashi winning would have been. It would have just made the whole thing seem kind of pointless. You know what I mean? It would have been a great match, but I think it would have just been, I don't know. It just seems like the only right ending was for Okada to win this time.
Yeah, and it's one of those matches, guys, that you can't properly convey with words. And having English commentary was pretty cool. Matt Stryker, Yoshitatsu being there was really pointless. They said he was there to translate things, but he would only speak when spoken to, and just they could have found somebody better for that role. But there were some buffering issues with New Japan World. Nothing major like with King of Pro Wrestling. They got to get that figured out, though. And they need an English language version of their site badly. The translate option helps. Some of those things help, but after the issues with King of Pro Wrestling, wouldn't you have thought that they would have figured all this out by now?
I mean, it's shocking they don't have it. I mean, if you're counting on people to use Google Translate to access your site, it's just so much business that's probably been lost right there.
Yeah, guys, go out of your way to watch the last 3 matches on Wrestle Kingdom 10. It was amazing. It's going to be very, very tough to top that this year, especially with the shape that the WWE roster is in, it's going to be very, very tough. Don't forget, there's also TNA debuting tomorrow, big SmackDown show Thursday. TNA's got a pay-per-view Friday, don't they?
Was it Friday or Saturday? Friday? I can double check here, but
yeah, I think it might be Friday. But yeah, double check that. But this is a pretty big week between UFC, WWE, New Japan, TNA. That's pretty wild. And then we got the NXT tapings this week as well, which should be interesting. I mean, there's going to be people that are expecting these big names there, and it's hard to believe that. Well, I mean, it's hard to believe that AJ Styles would be there, but I can check his schedule and see if he's booked. Because I mean, who knows? If they signed him, he may show up, but he's got dates to fulfill still.
Yeah, he's got a match with Rey Mysterio in England coming up in a couple weeks, and I don't know. I mean, they could bring him in for an appearance before he's full time, but honestly, I just don't know if. Will he get that kind of reaction to make it worth it?
Yeah, he will be in Barnesville, Georgia on the 8th, which is the day after the NXT taping. So who knows? But yeah, people are tweeting me vinyl punk, like those vinyl dolls of Doraemon now. Oh, crap.
What have you started?
We'll answer a couple questions because it's, we're going a little long. Let's see. Is the fact that Vince McMahon is making more regular appearances on Raw indicative of the fact that there's a severe lack of great heels in the WWE? I think so.
I think there's both. There's the lack of great heels and great faces. I mean, the best personalities you got are people that aren't there full time. Lesnar, Triple H. So yeah, absolutely.
Can you please analyze in depth the Ziggler Slater match? The answer to that question is no. We cannot. That is another match that you cannot convey with words.
They could have done so much with that Ziggler Cena Nikki Bella storyline. That's one feud that could have been huge, and you could have played off Total Divas, had the crossover with that show, bring a lot of reality into it, and instead we got this.
If I had to say, I'd put Okada Tanahashi here. I'd put Styles Nakamura here, and right in between, Slater Ziggler from Raw, January 4th, 2016. Yeah, we have people complimenting your looks, Raj. The guy ran a dating site. Come on,
you gotta brush your teeth, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Kentucky, so we aren't just told that by default. Sometimes you have to learn things like that. Do you think there are more stables now because it's harder for one person to get over than an entire group? No, I don't think that's the reason. But
I don't think League of Nations is more over than any of those guys individually. I just think they're just kind of flying by the seat of their pants right now. They got guys they don't know what to do with. Someone probably said, all right, let's get these guys back on TV, find something for them. It's like, all right, let's put them in a jobber group. And look, in 2 months, 3 months, these guys, it's either they're going to be like 3MB where they're just jobbing out to everybody, and then not even that long, probably like 2-3 weeks, or they'll be disbanded and back to where they were.
And last question, can you please explain why it would be a good idea for Roman Reigns to defend his title in the Rumble match? I'd be selling my ticket if I had one. Because the roster's thin. It's easy to make a ready-made storyline out of that. It's going to be the most important Royal Rumble match since 1992.
And now, I mean, there are so many options you can go with who wins. I mean, the obvious one is if you're going with Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the title, then it'd be one of them. But if it's not, and if Triple H versus Roman Reigns is just one of the big matches, but the WWE title match is something else, then that opens up a whole nother can of possibilities. I mean, you could have Lesnar win it and defend against, I don't know who. Still at the end, there's really only about 3 or 4 guys that could legit win the Rumble and win the title. But it's not so obvious now.
I really think it needs to not be Roman Reigns because I think that people might start to resent him a little bit again if he runs through 29 other guys.
I think Triple H screwing him out. I think that'll do it. Triple H screwing him out, winning the title.
Yeah, I do too. I think Triple H should win that.
At the very least, either what Vince said earlier, he screws him, out of the win, and somebody else wins it. I'm not sure who that would be. You can't have Sheamus. I mean, you could. I mean, I could. The sad thing is, I could see them doing that, but, yeah. So if you have Triple H screwing Roman Reigns out, then by default you would think a heel's winning. Otherwise, it's Triple H winning, and I think that would be the ways to go, is Triple H or a heel.
Yeah, somebody said that they hope that your dating site was Dating Inc. Well, you all better watch out. That might not be registered, so Raj is going to start hunting down domain names soon.
I'm going to look into that.
Guys, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Like us on or give us the thumbs up on the YouTube video. Go subscribe to us. Leave us a good review if you like it on iTunes. That stuff helps. Also definitely check out onit.com/wrestling. Save 10% off. I guess we'll talk to you guys next Monday again?
Next Monday.
Next Monday. Guys, take care. Catch you later.